Hello, Leo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Leo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. All right, Six of Pentacles. This is success. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. This is a card that represents everything coming into alignment. I feel like this is the day that you're waiting for, right? I feel that your life is about to become incredibly successful, really, truly amazing. You're struggling now, maybe. But the Six of Pentacles is a success after struggle. So in a way, it's saying, keep doing what you're doing because you are going to win. Okay. Now, I don't know your situation yet, but I feel like you're somebody who is a very important member of a team or of a group of people. Okay. It could be a partnership. It could just be talking about the family. It could be talking about maybe the industry in which you work. Okay. Very fine show, actually, that industry show. I feel like you work well with others, and I don't think you always do. I don't think you always have worked well with others, but right now I think you have the right group of people around you. Okay, and I think that everybody is sort of contributing. You might be the leader of the pack a little bit. The idea here is to let everybody else shine too. Okay, don't push yourself out as sort of the face of this thing. Let it be a group effort. Let it be a team sort of endeavor. Okay, even if it's just you and a partner, or you and your family, or classmates, or your department at work, or a creative collaboration of some other kind. Okay, I think this is going to be very good. Let's put this card into some context. All right, let's see what else is happening here, Leo. Got a Three of Swords, a Ten of Swords, the Death card, an Eight of Pentacles, an Ace of Pentacles. Over here we have the Hierophant, the Star, a Two of Swords, yeah, makes sense, and the Chariot. Yes, very good. Chariot says keep doing what you're doing. Keep your discipline, keep your devotion, keep your loyalty to this group. I feel that there's some doubts going on with you. I feel like even in a way you're almost ready to just kind of to say, well, this didn't work. I'm going to try something else. You know, it feels like with the air energy that we've got here. So the 3 and the 10, it's like we're almost ready to toss in the towel. Okay. I think Spirit's saying, especially with these cards over here, Hierophant, Star, Chariot, don't throw in the towel. Okay. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right over here with our little sea turtle friend on top. I think it's a sea turtle. If you want to name the sea turtle for me, put something in the comments. All right. If you have a prediction for this card, put that in the comments down below as well. Let's do it together to exercise our intuition. Yeah. That card's going to tie everything together at the end and give us the confirmation, give us the conclusion that we need. All right. Let's look around the room. We got a lot of major arcana here. We have the Death card, Hierophant, Star, and Chariot. I think the Death card is, in some sense, showing how long you've been working on this thing. And it may not be one particular path or one particular project, but I feel like working toward the light at the end of the tunnel, working for your amazing life, your happy life, The Six of Pentacles could be like the most money you've ever made. It could be the biggest win of your life. It could be that jackpot, you know. I feel like you've been working your way up to this for a while with that Death card. I feel like you've had to make a lot of sacrifices for this. There are things that you could have been doing, but instead you chose to devote yourself to this, and I think that it is paying off. The Death card is a card of transformation. The Death card is a card of letting go of some things and recycling, reclaiming that energy to apply it to something new. Okay? And so I almost wonder if this could be a financial investment. It could be the idea that you left something that was relatively good and stable and was working to sort of risk it all for this other thing. And that Three of Swords could be saying that maybe we're going through a process of questioning that, of doubting that, and wondering maybe, did I make the right move? Okay. I think Spirit's saying yes. Yes, you did make the right move. Okay. Because we've got the Hierophant and the Star. And the Hierophant, as your general energy, I feel like this is someone with a lot to teach, you know, that you going through this process has really built you up into, I'd say, kind of an expert, you know. If there's ever an expert in overcoming challenges, I think it's you. If this is a lesson of perseverance, this is a lesson in commitment and loyalty and devotion, I think that you have a lot to teach. Okay, because I think that you embody a lot of those things. And I find that if you quit before you reach your success now, then a lot of this experience won't realize its potential. Okay? So it's almost like going through this process, achieving that Six of Pentacles, that big win, that best day of your life, the success, the light at the end of the tunnel here, is going to give you a profound story to tell, okay, that I think is going to really, really help others. Yeah. It's going to sort of single you out as an authority or as an expert in life, generally just in life, right? But it could be that you already have this kind of teacher vibe about you. And I don't know if what you're doing is some sort of educational thing, or if it's maybe indirectly related to education or to teaching, or even to, well, we got the Star next to it too. It could be even some kind of a religious organization that you're involved with, or some sort of spiritual group. Okay? Your primary work right now is to get out of this swords, out of this Three of Swords, okay, and take the next step, the step that's going to be, I think, further into the light of this Six of Pentacles. The Star card in the environment, I think, is also very important because it is the realization, it is you, I think, re-acknowledging that what you're doing right now is an expression of your spiritual light. It is who you are and why you're here. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing, even though we're dealing with the Three of Swords. Three of Swords is never easy to deal with, you know. Finally, we have the Chariot at the end, which I think is a continued devotion and loyalty, continuing to sort of push forward and maintain your commitment to this group, if it is a group. Now, when we have the Hierophant with the Six, this really could be a successful teaching position. It could be that you are a consultant or even a motivational speaker, or some sort of, outside expert that's coming in. Slight chance that this is a legal thing, and maybe you're being called as a witness or something like that, right? That could be part of the whole thing. So we have our major arcana. We don't have any fire energy. And for that matter, we don't have any water energy either. What we have is air, 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 earth, earth, earth. So it really is about you thinking, contemplating, and possibly ruminating on your situation to figure out how to get the results that you want. The results that we have, look at these results. We have an ace, a 6, and an 8 of pentacles. Those are very successful cards. They're sort of, they're maybe slow. They may be a little bit subtle, but they are successful. If something is taking a long time to happen, it's going to be very, very worth it. Okay? It feels as if dealing with our thoughts right now, and really with the absence of the water energy, I feel that you're not so connected with this work anymore. You're feeling like it's kind of maybe even a burden. With the 3 of Swords here right in the middle, it almost feels like this is your curse. And that's heavy. Okay? But the 3 of Swords is a card of memory. It's always us thinking of something from the past and allowing it maybe in an unconscious way to sort of affect what we're doing now. Okay? So we're looking back on that death card perhaps, and we're maybe reliving or remembering what that death card represents to you. Okay? It could be a failed attempt at something. It could be a loss, financial loss. It could be the loss of a job. It could be the last time you took a really big risk and it didn't work out. It could be that we're sort of, we're missing a loved one that has departed, right? It's a lot of these different things, these 2 cards together. Okay? Because the death card, it doesn't often represent literal death, but it does represent the past and the fading away of something. Okay? It's a letting go. We have to grieve and release and move on, right? And I kind of feel that's what you did. And whether this was a spiritual path, whether it was a work thing, a career, whether it was the last attempt that you did, that you made for this big win. Maybe this is not the first iteration of this effort for you. But the 3 of Swords is always us kind of feeling terrible now for something that happened before. Okay? But you understand the process of change on the intellectual plane, the mental plane, in other words. The process of creation, too, right? Because you know that what you focus your mind on is the reality that you will get. So in some ways, the 3 of Swords, it's not a bad card. Every card has light and shadow. The 3 of Swords gets a very bad rap, okay? Because it is usually us reliving a painful, traumatic event from our past. And for all intents and purposes, we're re-injuring ourselves, okay? That same mental or spiritual or psychic capacity can be used toward other things, positive things, right? That we could indeed sort of invoke our own success. And it's law of attraction. It's, the practice of manifestation. What you focus your mind on is the reality that you will receive. Okay? We're sort of magnetizing ourselves, right, for certain types of energy. And what we want to do is use this power of thought and concentration to bring about the light at the end of the tunnel, to bring about the successful navigation of your current situation. See, maybe you are in a struggle right now, whether it's financial, whether it's a spiritual thing, maybe it's even an emotional struggle right now. Maybe the death card back here is something rather significant, and that's why the water is not being shown here, because maybe you're just fully immersed in it. Maybe this is an overly emotional situation, And we're trying to use our power of thought and concentration, use our psychic energy, our mental energy, to navigate this situation and find the exit to this period of time. This is always a success after a struggle. Okay? And to do that, I think we have to be aware of the kinds of thoughts that we have and how we're directing those thoughts and that mental energy. And, really going down to the Ten of Swords. Understanding that we have to let go of whatever this death card represents. Okay? Because you could very well be in a very, very, optimal position right now. You could be very close to this success. And I think your life's going to get incredibly amazing. We have to realize that the light at the end of that tunnel is there. Okay? So with the Ten of Swords, it's about us breaking down this habit of thought, this pattern of thinking. The way that we've been thinking about the situation, the approach that you've been taking, isn't working. Okay? We see the need for change. And even when we do a 3 plus this 2 over here, we get that 5 of Swords. We get changing our mind, right? And changing your mind, I think, in this case, isn't you talking about, well, I don't want to do this anymore. Or, I thought I wanted this big 6 of Pentacles goal, but nah, I don't want it. No, I think it's about changing the way we're thinking about this. Instead of thinking in a pessimistic or a negative way, I feel like you're invoking positive thinking. You're realizing that there are habits or patterns of thought that we need to break free from. Okay? I think that to get that 6 of Pentacles in a very practical way, the protocol, the methods that you've been using in a very physical way, I don't think have been successful. No reason to lament. Okay? Reason instead to find a different approach. Okay? So whatever this is, let's say this is a problem that you and your coworkers are trying to create this very successful thing, right? The algorithm that you've been running, the program that you've been engaged with, the methods and the protocols, the approach that you've been using, the plan that you had didn't work, okay? But rather than lamenting and thinking, oh no, it's one of these again, Spirit's saying, no, you have to then scrap that plan. Throw that plan away. That one didn't work. No reason to lament. Instead, it's a reason to, as we see over here with the 2, it's required that you sort of change your perspective. Change the way you're looking at this thing. Okay, if this is a problem to solve, this is not the way you solve that problem. Whatever this was, right? I don't know, you're doing complex mathematics, but all you have is a slide ruler or like one of those just basic calculators. You need a scientific calculator, right? At least I think. I don't know. I'm really bad at math. The idea, though, is that you need a different approach. Because maybe we've been using a technique here that is maybe or has been too formal, too sort of prescribed, too, well, in a way, too academic, too hierophant, right? Too by the book, too textbook, right? And what we need, 8 of Pentacles, what we need is an approach that is more organic, that is sort of realizing that it's not one size fits all. Sometimes the hierophant can be one size fits all. It may be one size fits most, that's what they're starting to print on clothes and stuff now, I've noticed. We're shopping for Halloween costumes for our daughter, and that's one size fits most. Well, might not fit me. So the 8 of Pentacles is that organic approach. It is realizing that this situation is absolutely unique. It's not like the one before. It's not like whatever is in the past. Okay? This was something that happened. It faded away. It was done. Its time was over. It's not in your life anymore. You should have learned something from this. Yes, indeed. And I think you have. So I think that you're going after a more organic approach, realizing that this situation has its own peculiarities, right? Every iteration of your work or your efforts is unique. So we can't go by the book every time. We need the book. We like the book, but we can't imagine that every situation is going to be exactly the way the book says it would be. Every situation is different, even if the conditions, even if you're thinking, no, it's exactly the same. It's the same people, it's the same work, it's the same problem, the same place. Yeah, but you could follow the same recipe over and over and over again and get a different result every time. Because there are conditions that we don't know about. There is that little element of chaos in the situation that's going to say the situation could be literally exactly the same. The results will be different. Okay? So we have to look at every situation as being unique. And your current problem is not like the problem last time, even if it's the same problem. It's different now. You're different, right? The world is different. So you could be planting apple trees, right? And, one apple tree is growing fine. The other apple tree not doing so well. They're from the same family. You're giving them both the same amount of water, the same amount of sunlight. They're planted in the same place of the yard, but one's growing and one's not. One might need a little bit less water. One might need a little bit more shade or whatever, right? Even though they're maybe clones of the exact same plant, the exact same apple tree. They require different nutrients and different attention and different, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, but they require different protocols, okay? Maybe even just slightly different. The idea, anyway, is that we can't be too rigid in how we're approaching this problem. And I think this is what's going on with you. I think that you're very close to this success in your life, and I don't know if it's a particular work thing. I kind of feel like it's just your life generally, that you could see the light at the end of the tunnel, but the techniques that you're using right now don't seem to be working. I think it's affecting you, okay, mentally, emotionally. But what you're trying to do is say, okay, well then, you know what? I'm gonna set the textbook aside. Maybe I'm going to throw the textbook away, and I'm going to try a different, more intuitive, more organic, more sort of connected approach. And then look at this, Ace of Pentacles. You're making the progress. You're taking that step forward. You're going through this sort of doorway, this porthole of success. You're stepping into the light, okay? So I feel that this is your life becoming incredibly amazing, becoming very successful. Okay? And that's going to take us over the path of the serpent. Of course, as we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything, supports the channel. Also, Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories is my other channel if you want to go check that out. I do 1 or 2 stories a week that I read aloud. It's kind of fun. Okay. The Hierophant. You are sort of the Hierophant. You are someone who has gained all this experience and all this wisdom, and I feel like you have a lot to offer. The thing about the Hierophant, like we were talking about, is that sometimes it just likes to teach from the textbook. Okay? But you're going through something very unique. So you're someone that's going to be professor in front of the class. You're going to be reading from the textbook and talking about the textbook, but there's how you're going to close the textbook. You're like, I'm going to tell you a personal story now. Here's something that's not in the book, right? And then you're going to be able to share your wisdom in a way that is absolutely unique. There is there's a certain something that you have because you lived this. You didn't just learn it in school or read it in a book. That you embody this work. And maybe this is just about the spiritual work. Maybe this is, I don't know, it could be all sorts of things. I feel there is a financial component to it, though. You can speak with authority because you've been there, because you've done it. Okay? And I think you're very successful for it. The Star card, of course, is your destiny. It is the spiritual insight. This is the feeling that you're out there in the world doing what you do, whether it's your career or job or you're volunteering or you're teaching a class or you're a guest speaker somewhere maybe, or maybe you're writing a book. This is you realizing that this is what you're meant to do. The Star card asks the question, helps us to answer those questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What am I made of? Where am I going? Okay? And I think that you are living that reality. Okay? It may not feel like it right now at the moment because of that 3 of Swords. Okay? That we're still connected to something from the past that has, I think, discouraged you. We need a little bit of fire energy. We need to get fired up, riled up again. Okay? You need to be inspired right now. And I think that maybe the mystery card will be a little bit of that inspiration. Because you may understand all of this, but without that fiery energy, it's just kind of like, yeah, I know you're right, but, whatever. So we need the spark to come back here. Okay, because this is your path. This is what you're meant to do. Whether you're a teacher or you're a spiritual or religious figure, whether you're passing on some sort of wisdom to other people. That's what you're meant to do. Okay? And you have a right to do that. You have earned the right to do that because you've lived this. You are living this. Okay? So I'm hoping that we can rise up a little bit out of this despair and accept your mission. Accept your responsibility in life, right? So we got the 2 of Swords in the position of what we don't want. When we're over here, we don't want the 2 of Swords. We don't want to see a different perspective. We don't want to change the plans because the 3 of Swords it's that energy that sort of keeps us down in the dumps. It's like, no, I'm not going to try to do anything different. I tried this, it didn't work, and that's that, and it's gone, it's over, it's going down the toilet, right? So we don't really want the 2 of Swords. But once we get over here and we start sort of accepting these major arcana this way, we start to realize we need the 2 of Swords. We need the other perspective. We need to just sort of snap out of it and say, yeah, I'm going to approach this from a different angle. I'm going to throw the textbook out and just sort of shove my hands into the dirt and ask the apple tree what it needs, We're going to approach it with a different method. There's not one tried and true way to accomplish this, whatever this is. Whatever this big win, amazing success, 6 of Pentacles is, right? The success after the struggle. Whatever that is, there's more than one way to do it. There's no, it's very Taoist, right? Everything has its own, every moment has its own Tao, Every moment, every problem, every unique set of circumstances has its own way, right? And you have your own way moment to moment. So it's like there is a right way to do this. And maybe we have to go through a few of the wrong ways first before we kind of discover what the right way is. So in other words, the 2 of Swords is saying, you tried it one way, it didn't work. Try another way. Try something different. Go around this thing and look at it from a different angle. Okay? Accept the fact that just because you're struggling now, right? Just because we've we've approached this thing with this particular way and it didn't work. That's not it. That's not the end of the game. It's not following the way of the death card back here. You're being told to go forward. Okay. It may be a period of despair, of sorrow, a sense of defeat. But it's not going to hurt, and it may help a great deal. Just try some different things. You know, it's kind of good that the textbook answer didn't work. It didn't apply here. Well, good. Now I'm free. Now I'm free to just sort of experiment, to do wild and crazy things maybe to get it done. I don't have to follow the textbook. I did that. I did the assignment, and now I can be creative, right? So we need some creative energy too. I'm very curious about that mystery card. The Chariot card at the end here is you staying loyal and committed to this thing, okay? Now, the Chariot card is also maybe a card of movement and freedom, right? But it's movement and freedom within a prescribed area. Okay, so it's kind of saying, look, you've got to stay in the realm of what this is, but you can be very creative. You can have a lot of freedom here to try different things, to find a different approach, to find a different route to your goal, right? And for me, it's like, okay, I'm trying to find my way to Canada, right? I'm not going to go south. That would be ridiculous. It's not down there, right? So we have to stay within the realm of our kind of, the plan. We have to stay somewhat reasonable about it, but we can be very creative. There are a lot of roads that lead to your goal. Don't go taking some roads that are just absolutely absurd, right? If you live in the U.S., you're not going to go south to Canada. I mean, you could, I guess, but it's going to maybe take a long time. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense, right? So that's kind of what the Chariot is. The Chariot is free to be creative and to find different roads and different paths that lead to the goal, but within a certain framework. There's a certain realm of what's acceptable and what's not. Okay, and so that's very Hierophant too. The Hierophant is that card that tells you in life generally, in society, in the world, in spirituality, religion, in culture, what is acceptable and what is not. Okay, the Hierophant represents that institution of what's okay and what's not okay to do. Yeah. And so this is that idea that, okay, you're trying to get to the North Pole. Well, you're not going to travel south. Okay, that's just, you're free to do it if you want, but you have to accept the consequences of that. So that doesn't make sense, right? And so that's what the Chariot has to work with. There is devotion, there is commitment, and there is that creativity, there is a discipline that's necessary. Think of somebody who's just wildly creative, very improvisational, very sort of frenetic, creative person. They still have to operate within some sort of boundaries. Okay? They have to be contained, if ever so slightly. Okay? And I think that may be part of the definition of genius, right? And I'm not trying to inflate your ego, but I feel that you have that potential in you. Honestly, I feel like we all do. Okay? We all have our own version of genius. And it's that ability to be wildly, just crazily creative, but with just a little drop of discipline to keep things relatively put together, Let's look at the mystery card. Let's see what I want it to be some inspiration. I want it to be some fire, right? I would take even the Leo power card, the lust or strength card. I would take an Ace of Wands. Six of Wands, I think, would be absolutely fabulous with our Six of Pentacles. Your life is about to get incredibly amazing. Leo. Okay, it really truly is. We realize that this is not this. We need to let go of this, because if we can get rid of this stuff, this was the plan that didn't work. Okay, this was your belief in this was the textbook, this was your belief in the thing, this was the habit, the routine, the protocol, the approach that you took. It didn't work. So just take a different approach and it's going to work. Let's get creative. Yeah, maybe this will be the art or temperance card. Maybe. Maybe another star. Let's see. The King of Wands. It's a fixed fire energy. It is your power card. The King of Wands is a card that represents your superpower in action. Okay? It's a fixed fire energy, Leo, just as you are a fixed fire sign. So this is your ability to be inspired and sustain that enthusiasm, that burning passion. It's not just it fires up once, either it works or it doesn't, and then it's cool again, It's extinguished very quickly. No, yours is a fire that is not easily extinguished. So get rid of that 3 of Swords, that 10 of Swords. Find your fire and keep it going. Okay? This is constancy, consistency, perseverance. This is a sustained interest and enthusiasm in something. This is your burning, fiery passion for whatever this is. Life in general, or a particular project or something. And it's not being extinguished. That 3 of Swords did not extinguish it. May have sort of hidden it away. Maybe you've banked your coal, you've chambered your coals or whatever they call it. But it hasn't extinguished your fire. It's really now just bringing in that 5 of Swords, fanning the flame a little bit, right? 5 of Swords, the movement and the thinking, right? Let's think differently. Let's think more creatively. Let's start the mind moving in a positive, proactive kind of way, not in the 3 of Swords, sort of reliving the past, ruminating on something. No, let's get rid of that. That's stagnant air, right? We need the breeze, right? We need a little bit of wind here to get the fire raging again. Okay? This is very good. We're going to do an extended reading too if you want to stick around. There's a link in the corner. There's one down below. New readings for Leo are on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's totally free. Also, subscribe over to Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.